Thanks, Wayne.
Oh, sorry. Let's
We are
go.
now we are now live. Welcome to Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom, number 277. I'm your host, Greg Gow. The gang's all here. We got Mike and Tony and Don and Den and Jeremy and Dewan and John and Wayne and Garth and Hannes and other people, and we're going to talk about slot cars of all kinds, beginning with show and tell. Mike already has his hand up for show and tell. If anybody else wants to do a show and tell, raise your virtual hand or wave at me before we stop doing show and tell. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, first off, a new car, but just the same as the old car, except for a different color. But the interesting thing about it is that note the slot in the bottom for the chip. Now, the chip assembly is like this. This is an oxygen one. And foolishly, it turns out, I modified the chassis before testing. And you can see I cut the piece out there. I'll hold them up together so you can see. Oops, if I get my finger out of the way. So you see the difference there between the front part behind the screws there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since the infrared signal is a cone shaped, I assumed, which of course you know what that does, that I could, because the chip is mounted very high, it's about, I don't know, 5 millimeters off the track, that it would have a better cone shape to shine the infrared for lane changing and lap counting. Turns out that isn't so. The chopping it out caused erratic lane changing and some missed laps, which I have never had with SSD before. So that was kind of interesting. And the erratic lane changing, what happened is that Slot designed it right with that slot in it, so appropriate. And I have not tried it with the oxygen chip yet. I've got a dead chip in this other car and it doesn't work, so I haven't switched them out. But apparently lining it up that direction like that directs the infrared shining through to the sensors and makes for good lane changing and lap counting. So I learned something new that sort of blew apart some assumptions that I had before.
So,
Yeah.
so your whole the car that you modified already had that oblong hole.
No, it had the slot. It was like this. This is a
It was like
original
okay,
chassis.
so the car you modified was exactly like that one.
Yes,
Okay, and you
and I
didn't add
modified it
material.
like
You
this.
just opened it up even more.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand how that, because blocking the light isn't going to make the light that passes through more intense.
I agree. It flies in the face of everything that I thought before because, with the infrared having a cone shaped or reverse cone kind of shape to the
That's what
infrared
that's what I was wondering if the if the original modded car had a different opening to begin with, because if the infrared beam is actually fan shaped, so like a flat cone
Mm-hmm.
oriented in that direction, uh, then that would make sense. But you didn't obscure any of it; you just opened it up wider. So yeah,
Right.
it does make no sense.
It makes no sense. I only have empirical evidence that it worked.
I have a
So
question. Is the infrared LED responsible for lap counting on SSD?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So
That was
Lab counting is a little bit more particular about the quality and the number of good data points that it gets as the car crosses over the sensor than lane changing is. Lane changing only cares whether it's highs and lows versus lows and highs. That's how lane changing works with the infrared signal. Uh, but the lap counting requires multiple good quality catches of the signal from the car. So you can have a car where lap counting works, lane changing works fine, but lap counting does not. But usually, you don't have a car that lane changing doesn't work, but lap counting does. And in your case, you're saying neither of them work reliably, right, Mike?
Well, no, the lap counting works pretty well.
Really?
There's only a couple missed ones that I noticed. I noted them only because I was paying attention to the particular times it was going across. But the lane changing was absolutely erratic, which was unexpected by me because my experiences in the past is that if the chip is mounted above the chassis with the smaller hole, it doesn't shine down appropriately, apparently, to do quality lane changes. So
Yeah, but in that case, you are turning it into a pinhole. You are obscuring the light down to a pin rather than allowing more light through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can you can fix it, Mike. Can't you fix it just by buying a new chassis plate?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
They just
Well,
came out, so I found them.
I would suggest, if it's not too much trouble, swapping the chips around to see if it happens to move with the chip. Because if the infrared diode on that chip is not functioning at proper spec, then that might be the cause of the problem, not the hole.
Okay, but it wouldn't happen to two cars necessarily. The two cars that I put oxygen chips in, both of them had erratic lane changes. I couldn't count on the lane change to work, and frequently it would ignore the straight ahead lane change, even though it was not wagging its tail.
And both of those have been modified in that larger hole.
Correct. I did it before testing, which, note to self, don't do that anymore.
I mean, I can understand why you did it.
I just automatically assume, since I've had experience with that happening before, where I would essentially, if the chip was mounted a couple millimeters above the chassis, rather than directly down flat on the chassis because of mounting issues or anything like that, I would enlarge the hole. It would take care of the problem. So I enlarged the hole originally, thinking that, it's higher above, it's going to be even worse. That didn't help. So I cut away the front part of it to see if projecting forwards would help. Didn't. Now, the only problem is I haven't checked it with an oxygen chip as opposed to an SSD chip. The chip that's in this car is an SSD chip, a slotted SP15C. So there may be something different in there. I haven't determined that yet. I suppose what I could do is since these have to be soldered in, basically, I mean, I can pull it off and show you. But anyway, I left the connectors in on the new car to test, because I wanted to see if the original chassis made a difference, and apparently it did. So my next tack is to put a oxygen chip in it and see if that made any difference.
Yeah.
If it's something that's in the slot, the oxygen chip that's causing a problem. So anyway, I thought it was interesting from standpoint because it sort of blew apart my assumptions on that regard. So,
well, there were some posts on Slot Forum about the SP15C having issues, but I don't use them much, so I don't know. I didn't really follow the details of that.
That was the SP15D. It's a newer one. Apparently, they have issues with connections. I just read it. That's right. So is the 15D. The 15C doesn't have any problem, but they're all out of stock almost everywhere. They're hard to find. I can find them in Europe, but I can't find them here. So at any rate, I tested it with a chip because I didn't have a free oxygen chip that I could just unplug easily and take out. And I had the chip sitting there. I thought, well, let's try it and see if it works in the chassis. And it does. Perfectly reliable lane changes every time, straightforward lane changes. Even wagging my tail a little bit, I could get it to work. So I was like, okay, I'd be interested to find out why that's the case, what the scenario is that causes that, and what the engineering is behind it. So maybe I'll ask Slot it to confirm that. Just mention the problem on the forum and see if Maurizio responds. So anyway, that's one thing. The second thing is I had another interesting thing happen. We raced, as you'll see later on, we raced the MR Slot Car Corvettes. And what I had done is put 1171 rear tires, which are that wide.
10 millimeter.
And replace them with the original tires, which are, well, half that wide. I think they're about 6.5 or 7 millimeters wide. And the traction was the same. And the reasoning behind it, I think, is that the wider tire doesn't fit the wheel that's on it, so I don't get any more traction anyway. Because the wheel this only fits in a certain center portion of it, and causes it to fold over on the inside. So I don't get any more tire bite from the better tires, regardless. At any rate, they worked really well. You can see the video if you want to look on my channel. I had two of them. I converted one of them to a roadster by simply removing the top, and because otherwise it would be impossible to tell the two cars apart because they're exactly the same. So we did, instead of putting tape or something on them to denote them, I pulled the top was a little loose on it anyway, so I just pried it just a little bit and it came off with no problem, and it snaps back on too, so I could put it back to where it was. So unless I decide to repaint it or something like that, I've got two cars that are essentially the same. It didn't cause any problems for me, but it did cause problems for Joel. A couple times during the race, you can see, oh, I'm looking at the wrong car. In fact, we were going on and he was driving my car and his was off in the corner. So it was pretty funny.
Popular myth that wider tires give you more bite.
It's true enough. True enough.
I got a question for you, Mike.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, what's your inventory count for chipped cars?
Hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah. I like to be able to pull them off the shelf and just run them on the track. And to me, it's worth not having to screw around. If I had just one car that I had to set up for a race, it would be no problem. I would just swap the thing out and set it up and done with it. But if I've got to set up 6 cars for the races that we're doing, which is what I'm doing here, it becomes a pain in the ass. So I end up buying the chips along with the car. And sometimes I'll swap them out. The full inventory is not chipped. And right now I think I have 20 oxygen chipped cars. And probably close to 200 actually cars that are chipped with SSD. And sometimes I use the Hornby chip, the Scalextric chip, in a slotted car or something like that. It depends upon what I had. The Scalextric chips are a little bit cheaper. They're about $28 or $29, I think, from Professor Motor. Whereas the slotted SB15C, which is the chip for Scalextric, is $40. So, and oxygen chups are 53 right now, if you can find them. So
So
it's
Mike, when you get your polycar track active, are you going to be able to still function on it with SSD?
I'm working on that at this point. No, because I have not converted the two polycar lane changers to use SSD.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. So that's going to be a strictly oxygen track for now, which is probably a good thing because it's a pretty. I've gotten a few laps on it now. It's a pretty interesting track to go with, and I actually I've got what I tried since I had problems with the connectivity of the tape and stuff. My solution was to wire the lane changers into the power taps, so I would have full voltage directly to
Yes.
the lane changer, and that would eliminate, going across the small amount of voltage drop would not probably be significant. We'll see if I have to do anything with that. But anyway, something's wrong. I got to short it, and I've got to figure out where it is. So that's what I'm working at now. It's like the fix has caused a problem, and I don't know where the problem is yet. So we shall see.
Perhaps down the
just
line then.
job.
Yeah, perhaps down the line you'll investigate that once you've got it all up and running properly.
Yeah. That's part of my plan. I'd like to be able to. In fact, I've got a 7042 power base that has the number 5 and 6 ports are dead, so I can use that with 2 ghost cars. You can, with a dead port, you can use it for a ghost car if you want to, which is interesting. And I will. That one's got the wires from the track itself already pulled out, so it's separated. So I'll be able to take that and just, get a plug-in to plug into it, the 7042 into the currently powered track. So I'll put a 4-gang plug to my power supply, and then I also will enable that plug to be plugged in from the 7042 power base, and that way I'll have the use of either's. But I have to put the necessary electronics in the polycar lane changers first. So that's sort of on hold.
Before you go on to the next one, I just want to ask Garth, are you hanging around for a while, Garth?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I
Okay,
am.
I just wanted to talk to you about gears. I missed last week and I heard the whole gear thing and I wish I was there, but I'll do that later. Go.
All right, are you all done, Mike?
Yeah, I'm all done. Those are the only 2 things I got.
Okay, go ahead, Jeremy.
All right. So speaking of Garth informed me about this product to try, and it is from Harbor Freight for $14.99. You get some precision screwdrivers, and they have a little wrench in there that will fit slotted NSR, Revo slot. So basically everything you could want, and then some extra Phillips and flatheads. Now the actual screwdrivers themselves, they have a tiny little bit of magnetic force there. So when you put your screws in, they don't go flying, and a swivel bottom on the end so you can, torque around with it. And they're hardened steel. $14.99. I couldn't pass it up, so I gave it a try. Thumbs up from me. Thank you, Garth, for telling me about those. Oh, and then you also get it in a handy little thing you can ziplock together and take it, throw it in your bag, and go. So,
Cool.
anyway, that's all I had. I mean, U.S. shoppers only, I guess. Sorry.
Get it with a 50% discount when they have those coupons.
Yeah, you get a coupon. There you go.
Yeah, good deal. All right, thank you, sir. And Dewan?
I got a couple of novelty cars over the weekend, and one of them I got was this Skelectric Mustang. Oops, got to keep it in front of me there. And the issue that I'm bringing up, because otherwise it'd be kind of this is pretty trivial. But the guide, did they
Oh, it's
change the guide?
360. That's the 360 drift guide. So it allows the car to spin around.
Okay, I'm trying my best to figure out why is this guy doing what it's doing, and it's completely. I thought I was wondering if they did upgrade their guide to something different because it's a completely wraparound
Yeah,
raid.
it's a split ring.
Okay, well
Yeah.
you've already that enough said.
They've been around for a while. They're kind of finicky because there's no
Yeah,
spring to the braids.
yeah.
You can't form the braids like normal.
Yeah,
So
I have
sometimes,
issues running it on my track. I'm going to change out the
yeah,
guide. So I
yeah.
And
was just wondering.
I I think those drift cars also had like a harder rubber tire that don't stick very well, so they could drift. So be
And they
careful
have like
when you try that.
That was not my intention buying drift. I was just I needed another Mustang to include in my group, and it just kind of just baffled me.
I think the tires are fairly similar. They're probably a little bit lower grip, but they also the magnet is in the front pocket by default, I think. So, which on a drift car is fairly far forward. So to turn it into not a drift car, you basically with a magnet you want to move the magnet backwards to one of the rear pockets, and if you got the car new or the person you got it from included everything that it came with, there should be two teeny little screws that you can put up into the bottom of the chassis to keep the guide. They're basically guide stoppers so that it stops at a normal guide rotation.
Great, thank you. I thought I was going to see future cars coming like this. I said, "Oh my goodness, this is horrible."
I would look for the screws or find
Mhm.
screws that'll work because converting that to a normal guide, just replace the chassis entirely.
Yeah,
Find a compatible chassis and because
yeah.
it's
Okay,
not easy.
okay, okay. Great. Thank you for that education because I was completely baffled.
Just do
Especially
get your club to years and years ago at our commercial track. We had a plastic track as well, and we used to have a little goofy series for those. And the winner was the first guy who could do 3 laps in either direction. Which half the cars are going, and this was on a 6-lane track, so half the cars going one way and half the cars going the other way or whatever was quite something.
Yep.
Scary.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dewan. And Mr. Den is back. What you got today, Big Den?
Oh, well, just a bit of an update for a start. We've had a lot of activity up here where I am in the last 3 months. Our track owner has been at the other end of the state setting up a new business. So it's only in the last few weeks we've got going again. And the first couple of weeks we only had me and Dave and I there because we had one guy on a European vacation, one holidaying in the north of Australia, and a couple of others not well. So that's what I haven't been around for that reason. So I noticed there's a couple of new names on there. So they might wonder what this weird accent is that they're hearing at the moment. Yeah, so we've only managed to have our first race last weekend, and I'm not sort of going. I haven't got the results. I've got the results, but I know what the results are, but they're not very flattering for me. It seems that what I'm doing is I'm getting Firestones confused with Flintstones, and my tires are just like rock. And it seems we've come to the theory that nobody else is experiencing the problem, and they just said, one guy said to me, is your unit air conditioned? I said, yeah, this is a matter of fact. He said, do you think your tires might be drying out in the air conditioning or something like that? So I might store them in a cooler part of the place and see if I get any change. Anyway, on to show and tell. I hope I can remember where to do this. So yeah, look, that looks all right. And how are we looking there now, Alex?
Number 3.
Yeah, okay. So,
Nice.
Okay, so on my last trip to the south of the state, ran into a guy I've known for over 50 years, and he sort of got some stuff, a couple of bits and pieces that he wanted to get rid of. So here we go, starting with not exactly they probably were new releases in 1965. So the first one, of course, is the Cox Chaparral, and I'm just going to see if I can go to the next picture, just a few different views of it.
Big Dan, it seems to be missing the windscreen.
Oh yeah, I have got the windscreen. Yeah, it's just I didn't put it back on when I took the pictures. John, was that? Yeah. Oh no, or somebody. Yeah, but yeah, I do have the windscreen. It's just on my workbench here. It was buried under something when I was taking the photos. So the decals are a little bit ratty, which you might expect after 60 odd years. But I might get a new set from Patos and redo it. So anyway, with the chassis, I obviously need to get new back tyres, and I'm somewhere in my box of bits and pieces. I do have a 36D motor to put in there, so I'll eventually get that back together.
Do you have the
I
motor
say leave
clip, Dan?
Oh, sorry.
Do you have the
Was that
motor
you,
clip?
Chris?
Yeah, do you have
No,
the
I
motor
don't.
clip?
No, I don't. But I was going to actually try and fabricate one myself.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll have a look. I may have one.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah. You've got tariffs there in Canada. Yeah. Okay then. So let's go back there, and I'll just go back to my screen here, and I'll just need to. I've got this overlay. I've got the problem here is I've got the. Let's go back to the.
I would leave the body the way it is. I think it looks it's cool. I mean, it's only original once.
Yeah, just a moment. I'll just restart that because I got confused here with all these windows overlaying one another, and I closed the one I didn't want to close. So here we go. We get that one there. Open with. You go back onto Zoom, and I just want to go back, and I want to.
What are you doing for tires on that, Dan?
Got some MJK tires, that are produced in South Australia, Chris. So
Okay.
yeah, they're what I'm using at the time. So let's go back to Zoom.
If you want copies of the originals, Colin Spark at RS Slot Racing in the UK.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He used the original tires to make the molds, so you still get all the sidewall detail on it.
Yeah, okay, then yeah, I'll see what I've got. I do know I've got some there was a company in Adelaide called Down Under Tires some years ago who I just need to I'm just gonna right, okay, so let's just continue with that. So just cycle through again. So if this looks a little bit, I'm just finding it hard to size I'm just trying to size the window. Okay, so I can see it. Okay, right. So that was the chassis, and there's another view of the chassis. Okay, so moving on to some other finds.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a Lancer box that I picked up in reasonably good condition. And there, yep. So if anyone wants to whip down to PO Box 546 in San Bernardino, see if they're still there, you're quite welcome to try that. And there's the crux of what the box was for. Okay, so, and as you can see, there is a Chaparral 2G, 2G or 2E body in it.
T.
Okay, and there's another view of it. So, for something that's 60 years old, It's in pretty good nick. Yeah. That's just the back view. Okay, so now another box that I happened to get, the Matic SR3, which is an Australian-built Can-Am car.
By
And
Frank.
Frank Matic, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And yeah, I just said, oh, and this was a painted one. I assume that's a Lancer. That's the interior for the Matic. And I'm just gonna try and. I'm just this thing is just resizing itself. So you guys are happy to work with that. Just take that. Yeah, I'll just try and resize a bit. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this was the guy that I got off actually won a concourse back in about 1966 or 67 with this body. So a reasonably good nick. The decals are a bit ratty, and I have to find a head for the driver. And then the next, not sure on the brand of this, I think it's a Lotus 23.
Yep.
Yep.
Revell.
Yeah, well, it looks like a Revell or with the when I look at the mounting points underneath.
It certainly is.
Yep. And in very good condition. You know, the decals are good. There we go, Chris. That's what I was thinking. Right, so I've got a few more to go, and that was the next one.
Nice.
An unopened Porsche 904 by Monogram. Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. And
Was
this was
that-
just sorry.
Okay, it is 124th. Okay, yep.
Yeah, everything's been 124th so far, yeah.
Okay.
And this is I thought it was a Camaro body.
Firebird.
Yeah, okay, Firebird, okay. Yeah, the giveaway, of course, was the Pontiac on the back. On the back. After I labelled all the pictures as Camaro, and I turned around to look at the back, and it had Pontiac splattered all over the back. Oh yeah, wrong, Dennis. Yeah. So that was it. You know, that's what I picked those only a couple of weeks ago. I picked those up, and now I'm thinking of actually getting one of the HRS chassis to put under the Pontiac. There's the chap that one of our local dealers has got the HRS chassis, so that's probably what I'm going to do. So I'll just stop the share now, and we'll come back and just a couple of little questions I've got here on my sticky. Mike, I noticed your Mono Posto that you had there had the flat 6 motor in it. The new
Yeah.
You find they're manageable on your track?
I found it quite nice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It even with the C1 tires on it, it doesn't have G25s yet. It's still on the stock tires, and it's pretty manageable on my track.
Yeah.
I'm running at 12 volts indicated.
Yeah. Have they got the fancy gearbox in the back of them, or they just got
Yes. Yeah, they do. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I'm knowing the ones that had the small what is it, the smaller motor.
Oh yeah, the FF050.
They had trouble spinning the gears and knocking the pinions apart. I just wondered what they're going to be like with these new more powerful motors.
I have not had any problem. These of course are 2mm shafts instead of the 1.5s. They are beveled gears, but they have a metal piece over the top of the plastic at the bottom, and they have shims. Here, I got one sitting here so I can show you if I can get it up.
I have that trouble too.
Yeah. There's these thin shims to adjust the gear mesh. And my experience has been with them, is that they put 2 shims in originally, and all of them have responded to 1 shim to being good gear mesh.
Okay.
Take them both out, and they're not quite, they're a little too tight. And it's in between. You can see if you look, you can see the top of the motor at the rear where that silver piece is. There's a little tab. So you can see the tab showing out there. Yep, you can, that's where the shim goes.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
So all of them have been so far. 1 shim is perfect.
Yeah. Okay, well that's me done, and I'll just turn off the audio and sit back and listen. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, assuming there aren't any more show and tells, before we move on to Club Corner, Hannes, do you have a show and tell?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yes, I do have. I'd like to share something just now, but I've got some new stuff just came in, which I bought. Very excited about that. These guys, same as what I think what Dave's got there. And this guy. If I may, I'd like to share my track that
Yeah.
I've just updated. Where the hell do I share? Okay, so I've just fixed up an outside room and I've rebuilt my track, and there we are. I'm quite excited about that. I haven't run any cars on except a Carrera car. I tried it around. This bottom section here, I'm just waiting for 30-degree curves because I want to have a continuous curve around there, not this situation here. And then at the back there, I've got a bridge section in. I'm not too sure if I like that very much, but yes, there we are. Then
Nice
as
and
far,
long.
okay, so if there's any questions or suggestions, then I can stop the share.
How long is it?
That straight from the back end to the front here is 7 meters.
Nice.
Nice.
That is nice. Yeah, so I think it's going to be good fun.
Yeah.
Right, if I can take this out then I've got some questions, and it's similar questions to what Mike had. I've got the SP43. Okay, can you see it there? Yeah, I've got the
Yeah.
SP43 fitted,
For
but
Carrera.
I need. Sorry.
It's for Carrera.
Yeah, it's for Carrera. Yeah, so I need to still add the IR diode or LED to the pickup goodie. What do you call it? The IR?
Yes,
Yeah.
infrared.
Yes, I need to still get that. They didn't have that. I think that's a SP32, if I'm not mistaken. What I've done with the other car is, if you can see there you can see it.
Yep.
I've taken a Carrera slot Technic FT slot chip that burnt out, and I've taken that IR and I've put it on this, and it seems to work. So the question I want to ask is that third distance where you place your IR, is that from the top of the body third in, or is it from the braids third in?
It's from the braids back. However, I don't know if you've seen this in the package with the extra driver and stuff in the kit. in the car itself. There's a little plastic bag. There's a mounting piece for the infrared for Carrera. You can see this little piece here. Turn it around. You can see it screws into the front screws.
Okay, great. I wondered what that was all about. So
Yeah.
that's great.
That's what it's for. To hold the LED, the infrared LED in place so it's at the proper position.
Okay, now I'll try that because I've actually measured it and I thought that's where it's going to go. If you see it there in the floor fins, I thought
Yeah.
it was going to, sorry, there. I thought it was going to go in there and it would fit in very nicely. I'm a bit of a procrastinator as far as that is concerned because I measure and measure and measure and make 100% sure. So I haven't placed that. But now that I know what that is for, I'll make it fit.
If you look underneath there, there's two screws that hold the front suspension in, I believe.
Yes.
And you take those two screws out. And I don't know if you have to put in longer screws or not. I'm not positive because I obviously don't use Carrera, so I don't know. But you can see the two screws directly behind the suspension and in front of the central mounting screw for the body. Those are the screws you take out. And then it will mount in here like that. And it looks like it would mount there's a beveled edge on the upside of it. So of that piece that's mounted on the side, there's a beveled edge that would face up.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. I wondered what that was for. I looked all over the show and I couldn't find out if it was a spare part or what. But that's great. Thank you very much. That's great news.
That piece comes with the car?
Yes.
Okay.
It comes in a plastic. I just pulled it out of this bag. The mirrors are not mounted on these cars. And there's an extra driver for use with the chip in it. There's a driver that's been modified so that you can fit a chip in the space where the driver is. Yeah. They all come without driver. The driver assembly is taped in. Here, I'm gonna show you you can see there's a piece here and it's taped in. It's just taped into the body. And you pull that off and replace it with the other driver. That one is not painted, of course, so you have to paint it if you want to. And that's
correct.
It's a simple switch.
So the other concern that I have is that the front wing of these cars are very low, and I've tried my level best. I just don't seem to get it right, so it doesn't skid along the track.
Really?
And I've tried to set it with the set screws. Those set screws, I don't know. I just cannot get it right. I normally don't find a problem with these things, but for this, I just don't know. I don't know if there's any tricks that I should look at. Maybe get longer grub screws or something.
You've adjusted the grub screws to set the ride height in the front, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
But
if you look at this one, you can see there's plenty of room there. It's a little cattywampus, I can see that.
Yeah, let me show you.
Oh, more different.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Well,
it's right on the.
Bear in mind
that
this one has the connector is on the top there. The body is just inserted there. But I'll give you the other one. Hang on.
Okay, so while Mike is away, another quick. Okay, sorry, there we are.
You can see there.
It's still far from level, Mike. What's going on, mate?
Yeah. Well, I've been putzing with them, and it's where the body meets is not down tight, so it's not level as a result of that. It is pretty
Yes.
flexible at the front there and pretty, kind of soft, but it's so is the problem is you haven't been able to get it to stay in one place, or what? There, I got it a little better.
Yeah, no, I just, yeah, I can see that that's good space there. I just cannot get it right. I must actually undo that lot and see if maybe the hole where the axle goes through is not maybe too tight, or I maybe have to use a rat tail file to just open it
Oh,
up a
you know
little
what?
bit.
I did have to file those out just a hair.
Okay, so
So it
yeah.
may not be going down far enough or in the right position that it'll move. But yeah, I would play with the front suspension. It seems like there's enough there, and I think this one is up all the way, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
You
okay,
know,
so
the bottom
I'll have
ones are the bottom screws are below the guide.
Yeah, the bottom screws are below the guide, but there's no screws in mine at the moment. I bought extra ones, so I'll have to put that in there just to sit the axle properly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
they're adjustable from the outside on the top, which is an improvement over the old style that they had, which had
oh,
upper and lower screws in the center, which is a real pain in the butt. This time they strengthened the front suspension a little bit and put the grub screws for adjustment on the outside. Right. Well, I think you can see.
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, if you can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could also
The other
shim
thing is, the other thing is, guys, is that I've got this Cadillac, and I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to run it. And I've put a FT slot Technic chip in it. I don't know if you guys can
Yeah.
see it. It's there. And the chassis is full of holes for all sorts of things. And what I've done is, one of the holes is just perfect for the LED, and there it is. I've just opened it
great.
up slightly, and it fits there perfect. So
Nice.
the question is, do I connect this chip directly to the motor, the wires directly to the motor and to the pickup, or do I use connectors to do that? I'm never too sure about that. What would be the best thing to do?
I've done it both ways. It depends upon if you want to disconnect the chip for use in another car. So what I was talking about earlier, where I have chips for most of my cars, and some of them I would swap them out. If you're going to be swapping them out, I would recommend something like the slotted connectors, like here I got. This style of connector here. I'll pull it
Oh,
apart.
yes, yeah.
So you can see there.
Yeah. Yeah, the shops around my place don't have any in stock, so I'll have to
Okay.
wait till they get. So I'll do that.
The other thing you can do is, if you have any of your Carrera cars that you're either not chipping or not using those, is to cut the wires off those and use those connectors, because they have both male and female on there too. But if you're using, depends, whatever you've got.
Yeah, no, my Carrera cars are all chipped, so they
Okay.
ready
All
for.
right. So then
yeah.
you won't have any extras.
Yeah, so I'll have to get. I've got actually quite a lot of questions, but I've got a lot of answers out of this lot, and I'm very excited about this lot, guys. The last question is, where can I get, or I'm trying to look for the best decals for Formula One cars. Where would be the best spot to get those,
For your
or
polycar,
website to? Sorry?
for your polycar F1s,
Yeah,
the one you
yeah.
showed.
Yep, that's it.
Hannes, I could probably offer you a suggestion now. Not sure what part of the world are you in?
I'm in South Africa.
Yeah. I thought I detected a South African accent. Yeah, I'll just quickly show. You spotlight me, Greg, or oops, I'll just. That's my monoposto, and it's rough. Yeah, it's the Haas or Hayes, about 2021 version. I got those decals from Kevin Oz Decals in England. He's got quite a few sets that are designed to fit the monopostos.
Is it Kevin Halls? Halls.
No, Kevin Oz. His name's Kevin Osborne.
OZ.
Yeah, his name's Kevin Osborne, but he trades under Kevin OZ, Kevin Oz Decals.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've got that.
yeah. So
Oh,
look
that's
him up.
great.
He's got quite a few that are set up for the monoposto.
Look Google Atalaya, Atalya. They make a lot of decal sheets for the NSRs, scale autos, and the Solanas, F1 cars.
Okay, I'll go and have a look at that because our guys have only got the very basic ones. But gentlemen, thank you very much. I've learned a lot this evening in this. I've got lots of other questions, but let's carry on to the other guys. Thank you very much.
Does Patos do monoposto? Hold on, Dale. Does Patos do?
Oh yeah. Patos has got quite a range. It's just that for the modern Formula Ones, from 2020 to 2025 possibly. I haven't looked at these Formula One decals, but yeah.
So that's another option to look at.
Another option, yeah.
Yeah.
Third option.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say for your F1 car where the nose is touching the track, if moving the front axle down more is not possible or doesn't solve the problem, you can always put a shim between the body and the body post up front to raise the body away from the chassis a little bit. That would raise the nose off the track as well. Just a little washer or even a foam.
Oh yeah. You'll be able to do that, yeah. But let me see that. Thanks, Greg. Let me just see the axle holes if they're not if there's not something in the way that's holding the
Absolutely.
too tight around the axles or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. And then Dale, did you want to do an introduction?
Sure. Yeah.
Tell us all about your slot car related history.
Okay. My name is Dale Shore. I live in Southern California. Been here my whole life since 1949. And I got into slot cars as a kid, like most of you probably did, around 1960 or so. Then I got into real cars, so the slot car hobby went bye-bye for a good 20 or 30 years. I built a slot car track in the 90s in the attic of the house we were living in. Played with that for a while. Then we moved to a bigger house, so I built a bigger track, a 4-lane track, and then we moved to a new house where we live now. And I took the track that I had built and cut it up with the plans on putting it back together in the new house. And once I started, I realized that is just not going to work. So I just I started building another track. to replace it, which is the one I'm gonna show you here. Let me change my camera, and maybe you can put this full screen, Greg, if it comes up. It's a routed wood track. It's 2 lanes, has a lap length of 189 feet. It's a digital track. It's got the oxygen components. I have 12 oxygen lane changers in it.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's a fun track to drive. It's got a lot of curves. It's got some hairpins, and it's got some more sweeping curves. It's got elevation changes. One area is that's kind of close to us is about 17 inches off the floor, and just to the left of that hump on the straightaway is 37 inches off the floor. So it's got a lot of elevation changes, some dips, and so on. And I've just recently got it running, and so far I'm still learning how to drive it, as well as still learning how to use the oxygen components. That has been a real learning experience for me. I'm not a computer guy. I'm a analog mechanical engineer, and my training to be an engineer ended in 1971. So everything I know about mechanics and everything is before that time. So all this newfangled digital stuff and computers and everything is not my second nature. It's a struggle just to learn everything. And and in learning what I needed to know for this, I spent a lot of time on emails with the guys in Italy, Mauricio and Christian. Spent some time with Greg also on emails. He had some knowledge that he shared with me that helped out quite a bit. So I'm still working on the track. It's not quite done yet as far as landscaping and terrain goes, but my understanding is for tracks to get home built, that landscaping stuff never ends anyway, so I'm not too worried about jumping on it to finish it. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm a member of a local slot car club. It's known as the Far Out Slot Car Club, and I met Dewan there at one of the events, and he's the one that called me 2-3 weeks ago to tell me that invite me that I get on this forum and show you the track. So if you have any questions, fire away. I'll see if I can answer them. I am looking for some help on some other aspects of it. So I may, on one of these other sessions, I may get into that. Particularly, I'm looking for a race management system that would be good for this track. I haven't yet been able to get the fuel management running on this track. I thought that the oxygen software would include that, but turns out it didn't. And Mauricio has told me that I need to get an outside race management. So that's one of my next things I need to learn about. So if anybody has any tips on that, I'd appreciate that.
So did you use braid or copper tape for your slots?
It's braided. It's non-magnetic. It's nickel or some shiny silver metal plated copper.
Very, very, very nice. I love the elevation changes. I think that's awesome.
Oh, it's great.
I have serious jealousy on that.
That's a gorgeous track.
When's the next race?
Yeah.
All round to Dale's then for a party.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's invited most of the Far Out Club members to a special session he's going to be having in about a month or so. I'm sure he'll tell a bit about that.
Now, for Faro,
I'll answer his question then, so that he can kind of get his feet wet on that, and Mike will have some input on that too, I'm sure. You have a couple of choices for oxygen compatible race management with fuel, and one that might be coming out soon, but we don't really have any ETA on it that Chris is working on the you see on Slot Forum talking about him working on his new race manager for oxygen. What you can get right now is Race Control System 02 or RCS 02, which is by the same guys who did RCS 64 for Scalextric Digital, but it's more or less a completely different program. Can do up to 8 oxygen cars because of limited screen space. And it does fuel and some of the other basic simulation stuff. It's not bug free, which is why the other option I would suggest is PC Lap Counter, which works with pretty much everything out there that's worth working with, I'll say, including both Oxygen version 3 and Oxygen version 4. It does fuel management. It has a couple other features for simulating races, but it's not real deep on the simulations, right? So it has it has the ability for you to stop in the pit lane and do fuel stuff, and pit stuff like stop and go penalties and stuff like that. But it seems to be more reliable as far as lap counting and functionality, but it's also fairly complex and can be hard to find things that are in there, but you forgot where they are because they're not in an intuitive location for you to go change the settings on. I've used it a little bit. Mike has used both of them more than me. If Gio was on here, he could talk up RCS 02 a little bit because he uses it fairly reliably and regularly. But as far as what you can get right now that does fuel stuff, it's either RCS 02, which is mostly free. There's a small licensing fee, or PC Lap Counter, which is far from free and is limited to one computer. You can't just use the same license on other computers. So whatever computer you put it on, that's the one that your money got put into.
Now, both of those, Greg, are they offered by entities in Europe?
PC Lap Counter is by a French guy, I think.
Okay.
And
No, Belgian, I think it is.
Belgian.
Belgium.
I
Okay.
thought he was German or something at first. Anyway, but yeah, he's over there in Europe. And then the RCS 02 guys, I believe, are in the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, see, I looked into those briefly, Greg, and I guess my initial concern, since I'm not a computer guy, is that how's customer service going to be when I ask? I know I'm going to have to ask a lot of dumb questions. How do I turn it on? Where do I plug it in? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So for both of them, it's mostly going to be community based. RCS 02, there is no real customer service per se. They have a forum, that you can access for, specifically for RCS stuff, but it's very not active. PC Lap Counter has a much broader user base because it supports all kinds of digital that matter and all kinds of analog. So there's more users out there to provide support and help. But it also has a fairly extensive forum where people go for help and for feedback and for requests and things, as well as a fairly detailed user manual. But that's because it's so complicated. It's pretty much a requirement. But yeah, there's no company that does oxygen that has a team of support people, other than maybe Slotted, if you consider that a team.
Yeah. Well, I communicated so much with those guys in Italy on all my other problems. I think we're almost drinking buddies by this time. So
if you met Maurizio, you would absolutely be having drinks with him.
Oh, I met him. Yeah. In fact, he came to visit this track about a month ago when he went to the Nationals at Electric Dreams.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I coaxed him into coming by and taking a look at it.
I have to ask, I thought the Far Out Club was an analog club. Are you guys moving to the dark side?
Not just, I'm the only one. I still have to convince them that it's worth trying. So that's why I invited the members down in next month to see if I can get them hooked on this stuff. Because
So the first lump of crack is free. That's what you're saying, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, to try to coax them down, I'm preparing all the cars. So far I have eight, I think it's 8 Group C slotted cars that are all chipped and ready to go. And I'm currently finishing up another 6 Fly Porsche 908 cars with chips. And those are all mounted with a design I had to come up with. And I have 8 of the wireless controllers ready to go. So I can accommodate eight people that want to try to race on this all at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Dale, if that doesn't work, always use snacks.
Snacks?
Yeah, snacks will do it. I've seen videos and pictures of these guys. They like to snack.
Well, at all the events I've been to, somebody always brings in pizza, so I'm figuring I'm going to have to do that.
There you go.
I think
don't try getting the Far Out people to drive 8 cars at the same time. Not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or if you do, make sure you record it.
Yeah, work up to that. Work by all means, work up to it. But gee whiz, 8 is going to be on. Well, your track's relatively large, so once there's a field spread, it might be manageable. But I would certainly go with trying to run some 4s and 6s before you go straight to 8.
Oh, definitely. Well, see, they're a 4-lane track club. So, I can beat that with just a single more car. So they don't have much to offer for resistance of dealing with too many cars on the track.
There are several members in the club that do have digital tracks. I know Frank Sisto has a career digital track, and several others do too. Mike McClanahan.
Okay, so it won't be quite so alien. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dale, have you seen any of my videos of the races that I do?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's Road America Northwest on YouTube.
Road America Northwest.
Yeah, and this past Monday I did SSD races, but I've been doing oxygen races with PC Lap Counter and a ghost car, so you can see a little bit how that works.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the ghost car business. I thought I would be able to run ghost cars on the track using the oxygen components, but it turns out when you're recording a ghost lap with the car with oxygen, it'll only record up to 15 seconds.
Oh, well, it may be different for your track because
my best last time is a little over 20. It takes a while to get around this track.
Yeah.
But Mike, you're not doing recorded laps, are you?
No, I'm not. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm not doing recorded laps. What I'm doing is I take a Scalextrics Arc Air controller.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see this. You see that little grub screw there?
Yeah.
Okay. I can set the position of it.
Yeah.
And for a lap, and what I'll do is I'll go with the quickest lap it can do all at once at the same rate. Now, it doesn't have the same kind of feel at it, but ghost cars are mostly for traffic anyway. What you want is to have. Pardon me?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do,
and not for racing.
Since PC Lap Counter doesn't make you have to start with any kind of machination of the controller, as opposed to RCS02. RCS02, you have to push a button to indicate that you're ready to start the race. With PC Lap Counter, basically you push start and it goes. So the if you put it in a set speed, that'll be enough to get it around the track in all the positions, going up the hills and stuff.
Right.
Or, if you want to use the ghost car with a slight magnet in it to make it a little bit more quickly, to make it quicker, you can set it at a set speed, put the screw down to that set speed, and test it ahead of time. And then when in oxygen, when you turn the PC lap counter on, it will fire off both of the ghost cars along with it. And these Scalextrics, Arc Air or Arc Pro can be modified to use the oxygen protocol to do that. And it's not very difficult. I did it just the other day with this one with no problem at all. So it's, and these are only about $30. That way you don't have to, spend the money on the other one. But you could do the same thing kind of with I think you can use a set speed if you want to on the slotted controllers too.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been using the Chrono lap counting system, and on that, yeah, I can adjust the maximum speed for every car that's on the track. That's on the fuel page of the Chrono. So that's what I've been running, and it's it doesn't work very good for race cars because the pace is just too slow. But yeah, I have some traffic cars that I've put on there and works fine. One thing I had to change though is that in the beginning I had to run, because my hairpin turns, I had to run the cars so damn slow that it took forever for them to get around the track, and they were always in the way of another car, a car that wanted to run at speed. So what I did is I took for each one of those hairpin turns, I have a total of 5 of them. And the radius is about 6 or 7 inches to the groove, to the slot. I tore up 2 or 3 feet of the regular braid and replaced it with some mag braid. So on those ghost cars, I keep the magnet in them, and I can run them at a lot faster speed. Well, not faster, but a reasonable speed, so they don't get in the way as much. And that worked out pretty good. That worked out good.
Yeah, I do that. Most of my my ghost cars all have a small magnet in them so that they will get around the track and yet not cause any problems falling off usually. The biggest problem I have is the drivers knocking them off the track.
Oh yeah.
Because they get frustrated, especially since most of the guys that I race with are, regular analog racers, and it's like, that thing is in front of me. So they sometimes will knock it off. And, it's happened accidentally before, but, take a look at some of the videos. You'll see some of the stuff that's going on, and note some of the problems that I've had with it. If you decide to go with PC lap counter and you need some specific help on finding stuff, which trust me, you will. I don't know, like finding where the track call is and that kind of stuff, and how to set up the fuel management. I don't know if you use fuel management. If you're using RCSO2, you're not. But you can set up the fuel management in PC lap counter to be variable with a number of segments per liter as the ruling factor on it. And I can give you some guidelines on that, on what to do that. You can communicate with me directly if you want to go on Slot Forum and do me a personal message or something like that. I can give you some direct information. On Slot Forum International, I'm P944 guy.
What's it?
P944 guy. P is in Paul.
And that's on Slot Forum, right?
Slot Forum International, yes.
Okay.
And Dale, I had some technical questions if I could ask. How did you construct the your lane changes? What mechanisms did you use underneath
Oxygen makes some custom order lane changers for wood tracks.
Okay.
I bought it directly from Mauricio and the
Wow.
guys.
Didn't even realize that. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Great.
they're not
That's
cheap.
just
They're
the
100, they're
mechanicals, though,
$100 a
correct?
piece. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike.
Did I notice curved lane changes in your layout too?
Curved lane changers?
Yeah,
Well,
did you do some on curves?
I have them just before curves
Okay.
because you know my understanding of a way to install a lane changer is you don't want it within a curve because the car might be already doing some drifting, in which case the LED may not line up with the sensor in the slot.
Yeah, the reason I asked is not because of a desire, it was because I thought I saw them.
Yeah. Well, I
I
have
don't like
one other thing I added, my own design is I added livening strips both at the lane changer and where the changing lane rejoins the other side. Because with the oxygen lane changers, the dead zone was about 2 or 3 inches long, and I didn't want that much of a dead zone
Yeah.
where the lanes come together. So I put some livening strips that I made out of copper, and they work fine. I still have to have a dead zone, but it's less than an inch now, so works much better.
That's cool.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I've seen
that
line
looks
flippers
great
on.
looking.
And
Yeah.
your clip is also switchable to analog too, is my understanding?
Yeah, I can run analog too. Yeah, yeah, it'll do both.
Wow.
I
I
spent
can't
a
wait.
lot
Second
of
to
time.
that.
I spent a
That's
lot of time on my back under that thing, running wires here and there. Now you're coming in October, aren't you, Dewan?
If I'm travelable, I will. I'm
Well,
trying
you better be. We're all gonna come get you.
well, I'm in Vegas, so it's a little tough. But anyway, but yeah, so I'm supposed to be going to my son's thing in October, so I'm hoping it'll all match up.
Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
good.
All right, let's get some club corner done. Does anybody have any racing they want to talk about? Mike, did you want to talk about your racing?
Oh, sure. Let me share what I've got.
Where are you going?
Okay.
Anybody else wants to talk about racing? Go ahead and raise your virtual hand if you can.
Okay. The first race we had was with the skinny tired cars. As I alluded to before, we had 2 Corvettes, one a Roadster now, and the original Cunningham Corvette. You can see that the 300 SLR Mercedes that Shiggy had was a scalextric side motored car. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that, but the motor is offset to the driver's side, which is interesting. But it's actually a pretty decent car, and the lap times were comparable. The motor was more powerful in the Mercedes, but the handling wasn't quite as good because of a front motor. So they were within a half a tenth of each other when I set them up. It provided really a good race. We really had a good time with that. I like the chassis of the MR slot car cars. The body is another story. It's a little bit off, but I'm looking down at him anyway, so I don't see the sills. And there are minor things that are off. The tires are probably a little bit too small, but I generally make them small regardless for the performance factor anyway because it's racing. Anyway, that was the first race. Oops, wrong way. I took care of the guys pretty handily in that one. You can see that it's gone there. And the second race was oddballs. So I raced the slotted Matra 670B, the Chaparral, and a NSR, and those are both slotted, and the NSR 91710, which is actually a Can-Am car. It's not quite the same as the Le Mans cars, but they're both they're all three oddballs. Kind of, they don't have real commonality other than the fact that the other two of them were from Le Mans, and they perform very closely to each other. They were quite quick. Interestingly enough, the Chaparral, despite its high center of gravity, was the quickest of the three by close to a tenth and a half. Matras are generally pretty good, but it's a little narrower and it sort of evens it out. And the NSR is somewhat tail happy to begin with. It's pretty hard to tame in that regard because the tail hangs out so far. But it was surprising to me that the Chaparral was quickest. Anyway, I did pretty well. I took care of that one too. So much so that Shiggy proposed that I take a 10-liter shrink to my gas tank next time, so that it's a little fairer, because because of the way I drive, which is different than those guys, they don't get the fuel mileage I do, and so I always have a fuel advantage. So we'll probably even that out next time a little bit, and see how it goes. Next up, I got some Revo Slot GT cars that I've got set up for next week, and we'll go from there. But we had a great time. You can see this race was a little bit closer, but I was actually fairly comfortable most of the time without too much problems. The biggest problem I had was getting ghosted. I get next to a ghost car and it would go inside and nudge me a little bit, and that was generally enough to knock me off. So I think I only had three or four offs on that, maybe three. I think it was only three, and two of them were ghost car caused. So it was a good day altogether. So I enjoyed it, and everybody else did too. And that's all I got. And I did use PC Lap Counter, and we used ghost cars, of course, for SSD, because those were all SSD Scalextric 742 power base. So it was, this time we sort of I reverted, and we had no problems whatsoever with the RMS to speak of, except for a little adjustments in the fuel. Originally, we stopped a couple times early because I had the fuel so that we were stopping about every 12 laps, and that was a little bit too much. And I lengthened it out to 16 as far as it goes, but I'm still tweaking the number of segments per liter to try and come out with the best, around 20 to 25 laps or so of fuel mileage, so that you have, during the race of 125 laps, you'll have 4 to 5 fuel stops in there. So anyway, it was good fun.
Cool
That's all I
beans.
got.
And I got nothing because I've been fighting a cold, so I didn't even go racing on Monday. So
Oh, bummer.
Anybody else got any racing they want to talk about? Guess not. So the floor is open. Anybody else got a topic we want to do? Guess not. So Jeremy, do you want to do your tier list thing?
Oh, man, we don't give time people to say anything.
Hey, do you want to do something, Gio?
I'm not a machine at the moment, so maybe if I have a time later on before the end of the hour, I would try.
Okay, we'll see. Nobody was or
All right, I'm going to share a question.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead.
Did somebody have?
I thought somebody was saying something, but not. Okay, so we're going to do a tier. Let me share this.
They snoozed, they lose.
A new segment. I hope everybody can see this screen now.
Yep.
Yes? Okay. So my question is, let me see if I can get back to my question here. If someone is returning to slot cars and they're going to start a brand new club, but they're only going to use one manufacturer to start this club, where would you rank these different companies? And these companies down here I have listed are what I consider in production, meaning they've made a car within the past few years, and they said they're going to make a car coming up. Now, I'm playing kind of loose with that because like Le Mans Miniatures, I'm not sure if they have anything coming up or not, but we know Slot it does, Scalextric does. So using this format, think about all the things that would include if you're just going to use one brand. Where are you going to put this and tell somebody this is where I would start? So for example, me personally, I would say don't even bother with Le Mans Miniatures because you've only got a few cars. There's no parts. there's not a lot you can do with that if you were just going to use one brand. But on the other hand, Slot It, they may not make the very best car, but to me, that's a superior product because you get such a wide variety of cars, you get a wide variety of parts. Now,
sorry,
does
Jeremy, sorry.
Yes.
May I ask one question though? Are you including a value prop here? In other words, are you taking the cost of the cars into consideration, or are you just looking at it
absolutely. Every single thing that you want to include, if just some stranger came back up to you and said, I'm getting back into slot cars, I want to do one brand to start with for our guys, what should we go with? So does anybody disagree with Slot It being one of the superior brands to start a club with?
No, I don't disagree.
Easy.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said let's start a club. Okay, there's only two brands you can do that. There's only two brands you can do that with.
Well, no, but that's not the game, Wayne. You have to start your own game. My game is ranking these.
For example, you listen to me, and I'll explain why you said let's start a club.
Hold on, Wayne. This is a tier list. So even if you only consider two of them viable club-related car options, we're still going to do them all. We need to rank them from what we think is the best brand for that purpose, and the worst brand. So Jeremy, what I would like you to do is go over the tiers and then go through all the brands so that the people who don't recognize the logos can know.
The reason I'm doing it this way is these are very popular tier lists that the kids do these days, and I thought I would share this then and let our people who are watching at home, they can kind of take a look at it, throw some votes in on it, we can share it on media. So the tier lists, we will put these in order. So let's just say we have NSR. NSR you might put ahead of Slot It. So this would be the number one position of cars that you're gonna do with this. And later on different episodes, we'll have more questions, but with this same kind of tier list. Like I just wanted to keep a simple question this time. So this would be a superior product, like something, there's no question you would recommend it. Obviously average is like, well, okay, they got some cars, we could do it, and above average is a little ahead of that, but not quite superior, obviously. The bottom of the list, don't even bother. Like I said, Le Mans, I think they have one or two cars, but that's it. There's no parts. The wheels are weird. I wouldn't even bother with that. So that's how the tier lists work. We'll sort these out in order when we get it, and we'll just see if we can kind of come to any agreement. And I'll save this information for our own club to kind of look, or our people in the chats and stuff to look at. So going back, everybody knows about Avant Slot. So just kind of discussing it, where would they fit on our tier list here?
On top in GT3.
You would put them as superior?
No.
Yeah,
Really?
I raced the Ferrari 296, and it's one of the best cars that I ever raced.
Right. So as a club, that's the only car you would race in the club from now to the end of the time.
Well, I mean, for the time being, that's the only GT3 they offer. So if it's for a GT3 class, that will be
it's not. You got to pay attention to the question. A club is starting brand new from scratch. They want to go with one manufacturer. Which manufacturer, where would you rank these manufacturers?
I'm going to have to walk away for 10 minutes and then come back at the end and tell you all why you're wrong.
I'm going to put Revo Slot in
the next ranking. The next ranking we're going to do is Wayne's chats, and we're going to see which one is a good chat and which one's a bad chat.
I'm not being rude.
Okay, so before we continue, hold on. Can you just go through, tell us what all the brands are? Not asking each rating, just tell us what they are.
Sure. Well, I'm just gonna leave it here unless somebody disagrees. So Slot It, Le Mans Miniatures, Avant Slot, Fly, NSR, MR Slot Car, Pioneer, Polycar, Sideways, Racer Sideways, Revo Slot, Scale Auto, Scale Electric, SRC, Team Slot, Thunder Slot, and Carrera. Now, just to kind of save time, I would put Team Slot down here unless somebody disagrees. They've only got a few cars, and there's no parts for them either.
And just like Le Mans Miniatures, they're very, very expensive.
Yeah. Now, personally, Scale Electric and Carrera, to me, would be somewhere between average and below average, just because you can buy a lot of different cars. Sometimes parts are, Carrera, it's hard to get parts, I got to be honest. But I mean, it's possible to do.
Yeah, but they're so cheap that it's much better buy a new car.
Okay, can I ask a question, Jeremy? Though,
of course.
if these are these people who have experienced slot car racing before and just getting into it again, or are they
Someone
just
used to race slot cars as a kid. They come back into the hobby. They know you're a professional, and they're going to ask you, "Hey, what's your opinion? Which of these brands should we start with?"
Gotcha. Okay, well then,
All right.
okay,
Now,
fine. Yeah.
does anybody disagree? NSR would be a great choice. You've got several different brands. You've got parts, or would you put it below slot it?
No, I put a top tier, and then I put
You would?
Revo slot in the above average.
You would put Revo slot above average. Does anybody disagree with that?
I think I'd put Revo on the top tier because you can get parts and you get quite a variety of different vehicles, different liveries.
I'm going to interject a little bit on both of those last two ones because I think cost is a very high priority consideration. So both NSR and Revo slot, fantastic cars, lots of parts, run great out of the box, easy to tune, blah, blah, blah. Also on the expensive side. Slot It has most of that stuff as well, but is much more affordable than both NSR and Revo slot. So I agree that Slot It should be on the superior end because of all those things, and they have a high value proposition. Whereas NSR and Revo, I would put on the above average because they have all those things, but they're very expensive.
What are they, about $10 to $20 higher in cost?
Yeah, and I would put Carrera. I'm just going to go through mine. I would put Carrera on average because they're meh cars, but they're super affordable, and things can be done right to them to make them a little bit better. Scalextric I'd put below average because the cars are meh, but the prices have gone up so much. They're more expensive than a Slot It car, right? Pioneer, I'd probably put, either average or below average because they're basically like Scalextric cars. They have lots of cars, but the variety is lower because it's mostly just Mustangs and Camaros and stuff. Fly, I'd put, and don't even consider it because they're just absolute shite cars, but they look good, but they're still not very affordable. Scale Auto, I'd probably put in the above average. Honestly, I think the only thing that's going to meet superior other than Slot It, I would say Polycar, but their variety isn't as wide, right? So maybe
I'm going to put NSR here.
Maybe Sideways.
We'll talk about it. We'll get all these on and we'll talk about it.
I go ahead and put Sideways in superior because they have a very wide variety. They're also very tunable and they are fairly affordable. MR Slot Car goes in above average. SRC because of their tunability but expense situation. SRC probably average because I think they're on the expensive side too and not as much variety but good tunability. Thunder Slot above average, Avant Slot above average, but basically for all those same reasons, right? If any of those have a lower price than I'm aware of compared to Slot It and Polycar, then they would jump up, right?
So let's start with a few things.
That's just me. That's just my opinion. Your mileage may vary. I'm not going to argue with anybody else's opinions on things.
It's just a topic starter. We're not locked into this, but for me, SRC would be below average because they only have one or two cars like that are going to race. They don't have two cars for a single series you could make, whereas Pioneer, they have three or four for their Trans Am series. That gives you a variety and you get parts. So that's why I would drop them down below average. But I mean, if anybody disagrees, feel free to reach out, tell me. But between these two brands, would you put Scalextric ahead of SRC or SRC ahead of Scalextric?
Scalextric ahead of SRC because of variety.
Yeah, variety.
Does anybody disagree with Fly being at the bottom?
Yeah, I think below average would be better.
You would like below average?
I would say below average, but after Scalextric and SRC.
You're saying out of the box, Jeremy?
Well, I'm just saying somebody asks you to recommend one brand that their club can start racing with. And that could be the brand has F1, GT, Tour, whatever. That'd be great. But some brands only have one or two cars, and they're the great product, but they've only got one or two cars. So you can't really make a club around everybody taking the same car and having 5 different ones out there of the same color.
You gotta factor in
that's-
tunability.
I
too.
think
Tunability.
it's fair to say that you shouldn't include cars that you're basically going to pour tons of money and or time into it in order to make them decent cars.
That's absolutely true. You don't want to spend $80 on a car and have to put, $40 worth of parts into it when you could have just went and bought an $80 car. Yeah.
Is the club gonna have? Is the club gonna have
I would add
digital
SRs.
and analog?
Hang on, Chris, go first. John, go next.
I
Chris?
would add Scale Auto to the Superior brand only because they make different. So if your club wants to run a few different types of classes, Scale Auto should, in my opinion, go up to Superior because they make rally cars, they make Formula One cars, they make a bunch of cars that you can run in different classes.
Is the cost competitive with slotted and sideways?
Yeah, close
Now
enough.
it is.
It is
Yeah.
nowadays? Okay. I mean, I don't have a problem moving those around unless somebody disagrees, but
Yeah, it's all you know.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
relative. Everything, we're never going to agree on everything.
Right. I
Uh,
have inventory in that Superior category
for
too.
go ahead. Hang on. John, what were you about to say, Weber?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I may have missed this. I stepped away here for a minute, but are you considering analog, digital?
I'm considering you just make a recommendation off of that. It doesn't, you can pick analog, digital, whatever, but the question as it is just a random guy you knew from high school comes up to you and asks you, what brand should he start with in a club? Now, if you recommend digital, he's going to come back and kick you in the nuts probably. So let's keep it easy.
Depends on the club.
I was going
Some
with
clubs
analog,
have
basically,
digital and some don't. Some
I
have
know.
both.
I would start with the analog. It's easier.
Yeah, I was going with analog.
Anybody have a problem with Carrera and Pioneer being average, or would you put Pioneer ahead, Carrera behind?
Carrera has more variety.
Yeah,
That would
Pioneer
put
has
them
better
in
parts,
Pioneer.
but Pioneer has better parts.
Yeah, that's true. I still would put them for the variety factor. I would still put them ahead of Pioneer because Pioneer is limited to basically your Trans Am cars.
Trans Am and your Legends.
Legends.
And I think the Legends beat anything Carrera has at the moment. So
yeah,
okay, we'll leave it around. I don't care. In this category here, the above average,
I'm putting
would anything be
Superior?
You would put NSR Superior. I would too, but cost. I mean, you're paying $20 more, which is fine. You're getting a $20 better product.
But the base product is just manageable, so you have very little add-on parts that you're going to be putting in there to really get it to to those levels.
You glue and true the tires, and you're ready to race. You don't have to upgrade anything.
I
Does anybody disagree with that?
I think everything in that category meets that pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
In this category, so MR slot car, and I think Chris, you help with MR slot car. They only have like 1 or 2 cars for each of their classes, don't they? Like, there's nothing with the Corvette right now. And don't they have one GT or 2 GTs? Do they have 2 GTs yet?
No.
No, 1 GT. So that's why I limit MR slot car right there. Just it's very hard to. They have plenty of parts. That's a good thing, but still above average. Thunder slot, they only have 2 classes, right?
Now you're entering into something. You say MR slot car doesn't have many parts, or
I said they do have plenty of parts.
Right, but they don't have variety. If you want to go with variety, Scale Electric should be above average.
True. We can argue that point too, but is it better than Carrera or Pioneer?
Yeah, it depends on what what's the purpose of your club? Well, we're going to have 8 guys and we want to run one class and we want to run them right out of the box. That changes totally.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Do you guys like Revo slot?
We don't want to spend much money, and we want to run digital, and we want to run cars that are bulletproof. Carrera should move up.
So this is yes. The best answer will depend on all of those things.
Of course,
but just as a kind of considering a variety of things, let's not considering digital, just considering a variety of things that each brand represents, variety, value, tuning, all that stuff, where would you put them? Not only in the 5 tiers, but also horizontally, which one in the same tier, which one is better than another, right? Like I might say Scalextric could go ahead and jump up a tier as long as it's after Carrera and Pioneer, because the parts aren't all there, but the variety is just crazy astronomical, right?
Well, it's all debatable. It's all personal preferences as well.
It's just for fun and just to get conversation going. That's all it is. So for me personally, I would move Revo slot to average only because the parts are kind of weird compared to all the other rest of the brands. You have to have a different size wrench for it. There's ball bearings, and it's all good and fine if that's what you're used to. But if you start off with Revo slot and your club introduces later to NSR, you're gonna be like, what the heck? What is this? It's gonna be totally different, So Revo slot's very finicky too to get tuned up and ready to go, but I can leave it here if you guys are sold on it. Do you think Polycar is better than Revo slot or not really?
I think their variety hobbles them.
Their variety keeps them. What about Thunder slot and Revo slot for that? Because again, Thunder slot's a superior product, I think, but they don't have the variety that Revo slot has.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for the interoperability, that's a very good point that you made as far as parts interoperability between Revo slot and most other brands of 132 car. Might put Revo slot on average, but at above Carrera and Pioneer, because they have a good variety. But like you said, you're not going to be if you get another brand, you're going to be like, what?
These wheels do not fit those wheels. Yeah.
And axles and gears and everything pretty much.
Have a separate pit kit for just my Revo slot stuff.
Right, pretty much.
I like Greg's suggestion of it. I like Greg's suggestion of it really all depends.
Yeah.
Of course. That's the default.
Right. That's the we want to run old 50s sports cars, and we want to run them digital, and we don't allow
that's not
any
the question.
switching. No.
But I mean, we can add all these scenarios in. It's just somebody comes up to you, asks you what brand they should start a new club with, and they're only going to run one brand. Now, going off that,
got 5 seconds. You only got 5 seconds to give an answer, and it's got to come from a pre-prepared list.
I think, I don't want to maybe complicate this too much, but so the scenario here is that someone that was running as a teen then wants to come back, right? Most likely they were running on a plastic truck with the magnets. I think,
okay.
And that's what they used to, or what they expected to kind of
depends on how long ago it was. If they were a teen in the
50s or 60s,
there weren't any magnets.
Magnets didn't exist.
Anybody hate this list right now, or is this okay?
You missed one though.
Strongly disagree with. What's that?
I do.
Hang on, Wayne. I'll get to you because. What did you say, Mike?
You missed Sideways.
No,
this one right here.
Races Sideways.
The one that says Sideways.
Sorry, I missed it. It's too small for me to see.
Yeah, it's hard.
Gotcha. All right, Wayne, go ahead. We're gonna listen to your argument.
Super enthusiastic, Jeremy.
I set a 5-minute timer.
Yeah.
No, this won't take long at all. Slotted and Polycar are the same manufacturer with 2 brands. So wherever you put one, you have to put the other. In my opinion.
Really?
Okay, in my opinion. Okay, no, hear me out. But they come first, and they are the left-hand end of the superior list. The next one in the superior list is Scale Auto. The next one in the superior list is Carrera, and the last one in the superior list is Scalextric. Because if you want to start a club racing with one brand, those are the only brands that can offer you a track.
No, that's not part of the equation. So
you said
no.
I want to start a club and stick to one brand.
You're being pedantic.
Yeah.
No, I listened.
Now you're just trying to argue. And you put Scalextric at superior, your club disappears in 6 months. So no,
I don't know. They weren't there when I got up here.
I still believe Slotted and Polycar. I still believe Slotted and Polycar is the answer.
So here's the problem with your scenario. You're saying that they're the same, but they're not. If you go look at Polycar cars, they've got a few classics, I think, and maybe 1 or 2 GTs, and then a few of the Subarus, whatever class that would be. So that's not as wide a range as their slotted line. And plus, the parts are different. Even though they're the same, you get plastic wheels instead of metal wheels. So they are technically different, and that's why they're sold different. So I would keep them different here, because if the guy takes your recommendation and goes, "Oh, grab a polycar," he's going to get the polycar. He's not going to see both brands and go, "Oh, these are the same." So you got to stick to the scenario here, Wayne. You're going off topic. Does anybody strongly disagree with this list except for you, Wayne? I know you do.
Only because of the track.
Yeah,
You
because
need a track to have a
you
club.
need a
They
track.
inherited a free wood track. There you go. A new scenario.
No, you did. That wasn't
Zip it.
part of the question, Jeremy.
Zip it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
neither
you
was
can't
what
change the
track was
question.
included. Neither was
You
which
cannot
track
change the
was like.
question.
Oh my god.
Okay, so if
What-
then you have a wooden track, right? Then
Gio, you
I
don't.
think
That wasn't part of the original question.
yeah,
Gio.
it was
Wayne
not,
just
but it's also interesting, right? Because for instance, if you take a slotted, a sideways,
right.
or a scale out of the box, and
I
you
know.
put on a wooden track, then they perform worse than Scalextrics on a plastic track.
So the next time we have this kind of, if we have this section come back for when we're slow, the next question will be about a wooden track. I'll keep this in mind, and we'll make it even more specific. The next time we have a topic like this, it'll probably be something different. Like if you had one car to bring to an event, you didn't know which brand it was, which brand are you going to pick, not knowing the rules. And we'll do stuff like that, and we'll just play around with it, and it'll give us a little show topic to discuss and a little arguments and nothing major. But for right now, I'll lock this in, and I will share it on our Facebook group. So if you're watching this live, or if you're watching it on replay, go to our Facebook group, join, and weigh in on what we got wrong and what we got right. All right. I think that wraps it up.
Good job.
Am I done sharing or not? I can't tell.
No, you're still sharing. You want me to stop it?
I want to hook Wayne up to a blood pressure machine right now.
Mine's fine. I know the answer.
You know your answer.
No, it was the answer. I thought we'd finished.
Oh no, keep going. We got 10 minutes, so if there's any other topics, otherwise, Wayne, go ahead.
Go ahead, Wayne.
On what? You know what my opinion is. A club needs a track, and the only offer for a track came from those manufacturers.
Well,
I might have made a little slip up on the phrase brand, and I chose a manufacturer. I said Slotted and Polycar are the same manufacturer, and you said the question was probably if we're going to go with one brand. So I might have made a mistake on picking a brand Polycar there that wasn't a whole club brand. But on the whole, I still think Polycar, Slotted Polycar, and Scale Auto are your leaders. But I'm willing to go with the list. Let's go. It's what we agreed.
Yeah, one thing we did forget is SCX. They are still making cars.
And
are they in production? I haven't seen anything from them.
Oh yeah, they're releasing new cars. It's mostly in the rest of the world.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah, they don't have an importer into North America right now, do they?
I don't think so. And they also have a track, so they would definitely
They have a track. Yeah, at the back.
Yeah, at the back. Especially if we toss digital in there.
Yeah.
All right. So our Facebook group, I just posted that, and feel free to leave some input over there if you want.
Well, good for you, Jeremy. Way to pull a pin on our grenade, man. That was awesome.
It's a topic discussion. That's all I'm doing, John. Next topic: which of John Kitt's kits are the best kits?
Oh, my kits. Oh, wow. Oh.
I'll need a full list of all your kits, John. So
all four of them?
Yes.
That might have been on the list.
Might have been. One thing I like about Sideways is the parts are interchangeable with Slotted, Polycar. It is weird. Like some of the brands are using whatever size I don't know what size that is, 0.9 millimeter driver.
But you know what else you just
M3s.
you know what else you just illustrated? Like this is the best time ever to be in the hobby.
It is. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know about that.
There you go.
Oh,
the old timers disagree.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
If you're in the
even
hobby,
if you read between the lines in the old, I just got a whole bunch of old model car magazines from somebody, and you read between the lines, and especially in 67, 68, there was this, yeah, we were talking about racing at centers, but it was, hey, the home set stuff that was the stuff that was really selling. That was the volume product.
Plus, I think the car in those time looked like crap. I mean, I'm still recording.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I don't
exactly. Unless you build a
people with
monogram
vintage
or a
cars.
Revell and you were a model maker, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, nowadays, Jesus, I mean, out of the box, they don't even look like they are slot cars. They look like
No, you're
model.
right. Yeah, they look like a die cast. Yeah, in fact, I think I've told this story before, but when I had Ronnie Fellows sign his Daytona winning fly, he said, "That's a really small die cast." I said, "No, Ronnie, it's a slot car." And he looked at me and went, "People still do that?" And I said, "Yeah." So, it's really, really kind of cool. And then I told him, as I've told everybody, it's a moped hobby. It's a lot of fun to do. You just don't want your friends to see you while you're doing
it. Some of the old stuff really looks shitty.
Yeah, but Chris, but hold on, Chris, you made that look good.
Yeah,
there weren't very many people who had the ability back in the day to make that. It was a great model, no doubt, but you had to actually make it.
True.
This is why I don't race in our scratch building club, because they don't look like that, Chris. They look like little blobs of plastic goo.
Well, that's, there you go.
I know. Not everybody can do that.
The race cars of the period were not splattered with sponsor decals like they are nowadays. So in terms of how realistic they looked for the period, I think they looked quite good. I mean, a BRM was a plain green car.
Hang on a minute. Have you seen a NASCAR or a stock car from 1964, 65, or 66?
I also haven't seen stock cars from that period.
Well, look at hold on. Look at the pictures from MESAC. They used to have they had a slot car class of stock cars, and those guys did an amazing job doing their
John
cars.
Weber showing off a 50s stock car.
There you
I mean,
go.
a single color with a roundel with a number was a real car then. So they were real. They looked as good as they could.
I'm not talking about the decoration, Wayne. I'm talking about the level of details that the car had. It looked like blobs.
You're talking about Gio, the sculpt, right, of the actual body and how well it looks.
Yeah, this scale impression, right? I mean, how they look even when you look at the box, not just on the track or in your hands, not when you look at them going around the track, because then it's everything goes basically.
Yeah, and the ones that looked the best were the cars that were actually based on model kits. Right, I mean, Big Den showed his Porsche 904 124th still in the bubble pack. That's a beautiful car, but that started out as a static kit.
Yeah.
So anybody who is in
were those intended
this
to
chat
be painted in?
Or no, it's okay. Anybody who's in this chat or watching at home, if you're on our Facebook group, you have a topic for our tier list that you would like to propose, feel free to shoot that message over on the Facebook group, and we'll bring that topic forward as something to discuss and vote on. Go ahead, Wayne.
Style for Jeremy.
I'm gonna run soon, but I just wanted to talk to Garth and the rest of you guys a little bit about gears and gear ratios. Garth last week was talking about using a 13 tooth pinion. You can certainly do that, Garth, but you need to match the diameters according to what is appropriate to fit the number of teeth in there. So if you want to use a 13 tooth pinion, no issue whatsoever, but ditch the 6.5 mil diameter and go to a 7, and then you use a 17.5 mil spur gear as opposed to a 6.5 18.
I think his Motopod has got a gear mesh capability.
Sorry?
I think the Motopod that he's using has got a gear meshing capability. It's got adjustability.
No, I get that, but you can't put 13 teeth on a 6.5 mil pinion and make it work well.
Yeah.
Chris, what's the formula again? It's like ×2 + 2 or something.
Take the diameter. This works for any modern 0.5 module gear, which is roughly about 50 pitch. Okay. So NSR, scale auto, slot it, yada, yada, yada. Everybody uses a 0.5 module gear. So what you do is take the diameter, multiply it by 2, and minus 2. So a 6.5 mil pinion times 2 is 13, minus 2 is 11. So to get the best or closest to a 0.5 module gear tooth on a 6.5 mil pinion, it's 11. You end up with 11 tooth. Now on a pinion, you can normally go up one tooth or down one tooth before all of the elements of a gear, all of the elements of the gear teeth are bastardized so much that they won't mesh with the spur or a crown. So same thing with a spur gear, an 18 tooth slotted spur gear times 2 is 36, minus 2 is 34. So the closest you're going to get to perfect, and bear in mind, even when you do that calculation, a 34 tooth 18 mil spur gear is not perfect 0.5 module. It's just a tiny. They have to play silly bugger with all the gears to get them to work. So in Garth's case, by all means, use a 13 tooth pinion if that's what you want to do with your gear ratio, but use a 7 tooth pinion, which is available from Slot-It, and a 13 tooth, and it's fine. And then you're going to have to use a 17.5 tooth spur gear, and those are readily available from NSR and or Scale Auto.
Millimeter, 17.5 millimeter.
Yeah. So what you basically do is look at the gears you've got in your car. So a slotted Sidewinder comes with an 18 tooth spur and a 6.5 mil pinion. Added together, it's 24.5 mil. So any combination of pinion and or spur diameter that you can come up with that equals 24 will work, will mesh well, and will clear. Now, obviously, you got to think about that a little more, because you could say, okay, I'll use a 20 tooth spur gear if you can find one, and a 4 mil diameter pinion if you can find one, and that'll be fine. Mesh is great. The problem is you got a 20 mil spur. Now you're going to have to use a 21 or a 22 mil tall rear tire, which is going to bugger up your ground clearance and center of gravity and all the rest of the stuff.
Chris, I have a question. I kind of purchased some nylon gears, some Scale Auto gears.
Yep.
Both 11 and 13, and the 13s have a bigger diameter. Okay.
Yeah, they should.
They were they weren't 7.5, but they were like 7.3 or something like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
What would be a good gear to go with that one?
Well, they're all 0.5 module gears. I personally don't like nylon pinions for a bunch of reasons, but that's a different story. So you got a 13. If it's, you might want to put that on and try a 17.5 mil. Any of the spur gears that are 17, so you can go Scale Auto 17.5, you can go NSR 17.5, and you might have to fiddle around a tiny little bit with the motor pod to pick up a 0.5 mil here or there with motor fore and aft, and you'll be fine. But the most important thing is not to run gears that fall outside of that little conversion gizmo thingy I gave you. Because once you start jamming too many teeth or too few teeth into a fixed diameter, you have to do so much with the tooth profile and the valley profile and all the rest of the stuff. You take it too far away from the 0.5 module pitch, and now it's not going to mesh with the spur gear.
Thanks.
And on that note, let's go ahead and end the live broadcast. So everybody wave bye until next week. Clicking the end button says it's over. Wait for 10 seconds before saying anything obnoxious or